What you can be doing as well, in addition to what you're doing, is you can actually buy your net worth with.
You've been taught that you need to build your net worth, but that's actually completely wrong. Roman and I are going to show you exactly how you can buy your net worth. Stick around. So Roman, what am I talking about here? Buying your net worth. What am I even saying?
As opposed to building net worth, as we all, got used thinking about, building businesses, maybe creating wealth,
real estate
appreciating as real estate properties, of course, appreciating assets. For example, you purchased a real estate property and you're getting cash flow coming in and you're hoping for this asset to appreciate, or you may be invested in a stock market or maybe in a crypto, right? And then you're hoping for this to appreciate. So basically you're building your net worth. But what you can be doing as well, in addition to what you're doing, is you can actually buy your net worth with cheap money. You're basically buying something that costs high with a low amount of money. For example, it can be whole life participating, dividend paying life insurance. Why do we think it is an asset? And why do we think it is something that you can buy and this asset will be there? So what's going on in here?
You raised a really good point, Roman. I'm glad you said, I actually made a mistake. You said something important. You said in addition to. So we're not saying not to build a business or not to buy cryptos or not to buy real estate. But what we're saying is when we do that, there's actually no guarantee that it's going to work out. And you have 100% of the risk in that equation. And you're the one putting up the capital or borrowing from somebody else. And again, taking all that risk and having required payments that have to make, everything outside of your control. The bank gets paid first, all of those things, Roman, it all plays into what we're saying. But you said something again, powerful. You said, hey, we can we can buy net worth for pennies on the dollar. So let me break that down. First things first, I decide how much capital I want to deposit into this permanent participating dividend paying whole life policy. Now I deposit the money into the policy and it immediately gives rise to a death benefit that is far greater than what I've deposited. So now, God forbid, I become an angel, I immediately have a guaranteed estate value. What did you say to me, Roman, before we started recording the video? It is not a if you die, but it is when you die. So in terms of, comparing whole life insurance with the term insurance, we know that term insurance only pays if you die with a certain period of time. With whole life insurance, the story is totally different. It is not if you die, it is when you die, it will pay out. So basically everyone who has life insurance in place, whole life insurance in place, this insurance policy will pay out as long as you, of course, make payments and you keep this policy in force. So you have to make sure this policy stays in force, and when the insured dies, then the insurance actually pays the death benefit. So basically, if we're talking about 100% probability of payout, we basically have a promise to pay, not just some certainty or some probability to pay, but it's a promise to pay this amount. For example, I have a life insurance in place, and when I turn 100 years old, on my policy illustration, I know that I will have around $1.5 million in this particular policy. So basically, it's a promise from the insurance company to me to pay this amount if I live too long and I reach 100 years old, or if I die too soon, then the amount will be definitely a little bit lower, but at the same time, it is guaranteed to pay to me when I die. Really good point, Roman. Just a quick note about term insurance. Of course, we're not saying not to get term insurance. Term insurance certainly has its place, but it's called term for a reason. It solves the problem for a term, not for a whole life. So that's really good, Roman. That was awesome. Now let's talk about, Vern, you said Roman, you said you were going to help us buy our net worth. You guys were just talking about death. Well, first thing we wanted to talk about was instant estate value. Okay. Guaranteed, promise to pay, not if, but when. Now the second piece is we know that there's a death benefit and there's also a guaranteed daily growth inside the policy called cash value. So now every single day that I take air into my lungs, there's cash value rising inside the policy. There's more cash in my policy and more available cash in my policy today for my family than there was yesterday, just because by the grace of God, I woke up today and took a breath. Right. So I can actually go and start accessing value. I can borrow against the I can borrow against the cash value and put a lien against my death benefit. I'm literally spending my death benefit while I'm alive. And I can use that to invest and create even more assets. I can use that to pay, like recapture or pay off debt that I currently have. So Roman, if I have a debt, is there a payment flowing away from me?
Of course, there's always a payment that flows away from you if you have debt, like outstanding debt with someone else.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about debt with your policy.
Yeah, not inside the policy. I'm saying on a third party. Now, Roman, the second question is, am I in control of the repayment schedule on that debt outside my policy?
You're not.
No.
You have to consent to someone else's schedule or terms.
Exactly. And Roman, who's getting the money?
Yeah, the one who gave you the money, the creditor.
Yeah, so
the banker or credit card company.
He or she who controls the debt, he or she who owns that debt is the one who receives the money. So now if I'm making payments to that, let's say a bank for a third party debt, whether it's car loan, credit card payments, lines of credit, mortgage, Roman, when I make a payment, who is that bank putting that money to work for?
Yeah, they put it to work for themselves or their shareholders, basically for people who own the bank, who put up the capital and who invested and who went through all the hoops of, starting business, and they had no profit probably in the first couple of years, and now they're basically receiving profit, which is great, but it is not working for my favor. It is working for someone else's favor, right?
Yeah, and all those same rules apply, Roman. Let's say things are going great and everything's working out, and I'm buying, again, businesses or real estate, or I'm doing whatever I'm doing. I'm putting money into the deal. I'm borrowing money from other people, and then let's say over and above all those expenses, I still have cash flow coming in from that investment. But the bank is taking the bulk of that cash flow first, and they get paid first. The money's flowing to the bank, and I get everything that's left over, but I'm the one who has all the risk. So now let's contrast that with the process of becoming your own banker and buying our net worth, or rather than building the net worth. So now, Roman, I start capitalizing this policy. I have the death benefit. Now I have cash value rising every single day. I access a loan, and let's say I pay off my car loan. Well, now I've just eliminated the payment that I was making to somebody else. I'm not going to stop the payment, Roman. I'm just going to redirect the payment back into my policy. So I'm going to be a responsible banker. I'm now flowing the money that's presently flowing away. I'm now flowing that same payment right back into my own system. As my cash value is rising, I'm actually making the payment back to my system and buying back my net worth, because we're earning all this money and most of it's flowing away. We just Just reverse the flow, Roman.
Exactly, yeah. So you did a great point, Vern, that you're working so hard to actually make this money, but when you open an infinite banking policy, when you open whole life insurance policy, then you can actually use this money, and you can actually use this money today. You don't have to wait for 20, 30, 50 years when you become an angel to access this money. I mean, your family can access this money, but you can think of the cash value as a present value of your death benefit. So you have a future promise to pay this amount of money, which is a death benefit, which is actually, by the way, always is going up, because this is the way we design the policy. So, and our behavior is to make sure we practice what we read in Nelson Nash's book. By the way, if you haven't read this book, you should. So in order to practice infinite banking, if you do it right, if you do it with a coach, then your death benefit will always be going up, which means the promise to pay will also be going up. The amount of payout will go up. So basically you have purchased this net worth, this wealth with cheap dollars, with pennies on dollars. And now not only you have a promise to pay, but you also get to use this money today, which is a present net value of your future death benefit. It's a representation of your future death benefit, because this cash value always goes up and it is guaranteed.
Yeah, to your point, I'll just add to that, Roman. What I'm hearing is that the cash value has to actually rise so that it matches the total death benefit by age 100.
Yeah.
So I'm actually able to access that cash value. So God forbid I become an angel today. Like now, if I have a loan outstanding, the death benefit's far bigger than the loan. The death benefit will actually wipe out the loan and the rest will flow to my family tax-free.
Yep.
So it's a really powerful concept. Now I'm actually getting to enjoy some living benefits of life insurance. People always think, oh, I got to die to win. Not the case. You don't have to die to win. Now, the question becomes, well, how do I get started? And how much money do I need? And, blah, 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 blah. Well, first things first, Roman, you nailed help me out here. You nailed it. You nailed it. Let's just say you nailed it. The point is you said, hey, make sure you work with a really good coach. That's the first thing. Do not try to do this on your own.
Number one.
Number two, you pointed to Nelson's book, and I'm going to point to this playlist beside me. This playlist is going to add a ton of value. So make sure you binge the content, learn a little bit, put some time and energy in, and start to understand the process. Now, the other thing is, what if I can't afford it, and how much do I have to put in? The great news is you don't have to be rich to get started on implementing the process of becoming your own banker. It's more important that you get started than how much you get started with. If you work with a good coach, somebody from our team as an example, we're all authorized infinite banking practitioners through the Nelson Nash Institute. The coach will work with you to customize a plan based on how you're structured financially today, what are your objectives that you want to accomplish. You just get started and you can always build the system over time. I presently have 10 policies in my system and I'm working on my 11th. So just get started. That's the key to the whole thing. You want to just get started.
You don't have to figure out yourself. Like Vern said, make sure you connect with our team to get a great coach, and then this coach will work with you and it will help you to start your own policy and succeed. Not only we help you get started, but we also help you, map out next steps. So what's the next step for me? Hey, Vern, hey, Roman, help me reach my goals. Help me, recapture my debt. Hey, help me purchase cars with this. How do I access policy loans? So we work with you closely to actually help you achieve your goals, map out next steps, and then actually take next steps. And then we will be coaching you along the way. So please don't do it alone.
So remember, you can actually buy your net worth. You don't just have to build it. We can do both at the same time.